now, and it's not about.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Thompson, Connecticut for tonight's running of the SimPossible Racing League, and we got the split series for you tonight. Tonight running the K&N cars for, I believe, round number 3 of the championship. Last week we saw Alan Capers take the win at the Milwaukee Mile in a pretty crazy event. We saw a lot of cautions, a lot of contact there, a lot of hard racing, and got another short track for you guys tonight. It's going to be a fun one, and this track, definitely one that is a lot more well known for cars without fenders than it is for these type of cars. Of course, this is one of the biggest tracks in the Whelen Modified Tour. I believe it's what they call the Indy of the East, one of the oldest tracks in the series from the 1930s, I believe. So a very historical track, a very important track for the northeastern race community, and I think it's going to put on a good show here tonight, as always in the SimPossible Race League. But I'm Cameron Rich, and got Carlos Costa manning those cameras as always. We're delighted to bring you this race tonight here on 3Y TV, and like we said, it's going to be an awesome one. Just winding up practice here real quick, about a minute left. As you can see on your screen, your fastest car right now is the number 7 of Kevin Pasquich. And right there on your screen now, that's AJ Digby. He is currently 7th, just a few 100ths off that number 7 car. So definitely going to be looking to capture the win tonight. Was able to get a win in the other series, or the other side of this series, the truck series, last weekend at Atlanta. That's the last time that we were live on Monday here on 3Y TV. And that was a pretty eventful race in itself. But tonight, again, we've got the K&N cars, and it should be, short track racing, always something to look out for, always a pretty crazy event, and I can't imagine it'll be any different tonight. But practice is about to be over right now, so we're going to be set to get going qualifying here, single car qualifying, of course, in this league, and going to be important to try to get a good track position, because on a short track it is quite a bit tougher to pass without knocking someone out of the way than it is on a larger track. So you want to make sure that you get as far up the grid as you can, and we'll see what these guys can do tonight. This is a very interesting track to drive. We'll see if we can get it on board with one of these cars as they go out and qualify. Now, there's number 24 of Matthew Lizanewski. You see what kind of line he runs here, and you see the track is it's a very weird track, because at the bottom of the track where you think you should run, it's not it's not banked really. It's a little bit flatter down there, so I wouldn't say it's progressive banking, because there's only really 2 levels of it. Always in the wall there, you see in turns 1 and 2 that'll disqualify his lap. I wouldn't say this is progressively banked, because it's not banked in levels like you would see at a track like Homestead or Kansas nowadays. It's just really the bottom is flat, and then you kind of run middle to the high side of this track. So we'll see these cars run the middle line for the most part tonight, kind of in that patch of asphalt you see there, that newer patch of asphalt. You see right there in the middle of your screen through turns 3 and 4, Matthew finishing up his laps. with a 19.358. He is currently second on the board right now, so actually was able to... Didn't actually put up a lap time in practice, so that's actually a pretty decent lap time so far. Kevin Paskowicz right now, your fastest car. As I say that, Chris Roberge goes to the top with an 18.915, so pretty good lap time for him. About 2/10 off of his practice time, but everybody seems to be off their practice time by about that same amount. So I believe that the track might have gotten a little bit slicker in the time between practice ending and now, so definitely something to look out for. Of course, it is nighttime here, so the track really not going to go through all too much of a change weather-wise, but we'll definitely see what happens throughout the night. There's number 1 Thomas Wise, Kyle Zimmer in the 25 right there on the clock right now. Let's see what kind of lap time he's able to run. I don't believe he didn't get a lap time in. Might have nipped the wall just a little bit. We'll see if he can get this second lap in. You definitely want to try to get your fast lap will be on your newest tires, so you really don't want to have to make that second lap if you don't have to. But here's Kyle across the line, P2 at 18.932, so a pretty good lap time for him. Here's AJ Digby, see if he can go to the top of the board, and yes he does. He is the only car in the 7s right now, only car I believe that actually improved from practice, so a very impressive lap time for him. Definitely coming out here and showing that he is the favorite for tonight so far. We only have one car out on track right now. Excuse me, one car not on track right now, and that's the number 66 of Brian Lowhead, who, as if you keep up with the SimPossible Racing League, you kind of know that he probably will not put a lap time up. He tends to not ever do that, but something that he just kind of doesn't like to qualify. It doesn't really hurt him at all. You see Matthew Wisniewski pulling a Truex there on the wall, and these cars are quite aching to do that. They seem to really like to climb the wall, and I'm not sure why, but they seem to do that. There's AJ Digby wrecking his car right before the race because maybe it was a qualifying special. Of course, you would think that with the lap time he was able to put up. A very impressive lap time, though, as I already said. The only car to actually improve from practice, and he actually is the only car in the 18.7 bracket. So about 2/10 quicker than anyone else in the field right now. And if he can hold that kind of a pace tonight, he's definitely going to be hard to beat for sure. About a minute left here in qualifying, minute and change. So we'll go ahead and ride this out. We don't think anyone else will be going on track right now, except for maybe some last minute practice. So definitely, I think our grid will be set as it is. You see it right there on the left side of your screen. That's going to be how we are going to start tonight. As the clock winds down to 0, as we said, nobody else taking time on the track right now. So AJ Digby going to be your pole sitter tonight by about 2/10 of a second over Chris Roberge. So definitely showing that he has a lot of speed at this track, and definitely probably going to be the favorite tonight. As far as nothing happens, we've well documented AJ's luck throughout the series, but we'll see if he can kind of do it a little bit better tonight. Here's your starting grid, though. AJ Digby, like we said, on the pole. He's going to be starting inside of row number 1, and to his outside, number 98 of Chris Roberge. Starting in third, number 25 of Kyle Zimmer, and number 7 of Kevin Paskowicz can be starting fourth to his outside. Starting in the fifth spot, we have the number 17 of Fernando Matos, and to his outside, number 24 of Matthew Wisniewski. Alan Capers, the cone killer himself, can be rolling off in the 7th position, and to his outside in the 8th spot is going to be number 32 of Billy Wise, who was able to capture the win in this series at Daytona earlier in the year. The elder Wise, Thomas Wise, going to be starting in the 9th position right behind his son, and in 10th we have Johnny Berardi, last car to take time. And Brian Lloyd, like we said, going to be rolling off in the 11th spot, did not like to take a time tonight. So we're going to have 2 pace laps here tonight. Of course, this is a short track, so just going to give a chance for these guys to get everything warmed up and get those tires up to operating temperature. And we're going to be going racing here tonight for 130 laps around this half-mile racetrack. Coming through turns 3 and 4 now. Pace car making the hard left turn onto pit road. Field in the hands of AJ Digby through turn number 4. We'll see if what kind of a restart everybody can get here. And the green flag is out. Looks like Christopher Burge got a pretty good restart on the outside line. He actually got a little bit of a jump on AJ, but I think AJ will have the preferred groove through 1 and 2. As I say that, Christopher Burge pulls ahead. We'll see very close off turn number 2 contact, and it looks like there's cars around everywhere. Already have a caution out on the speedway. It's like a multi-car accident off turn number 2. There's 13 of Alan Capers involved. Fernando Matos involved. A lot of damage on that car. Not the way these guys wanted to start this race. But there was a big stack up there off turn number 2. It started with the number 14 and the 98 making contact. And it kind of just accordioned really back throughout the entire field. Matthew Wisniewski getting turned around. Fernando Matos has a lot of damage on the rear end of that car. So not the way these guys wanted to start the race. But this is a short track, so damage really is not that much of an issue, especially if you get on the rear end. So maybe we might see Fernando not like to take his fast repair. Definitely will be something to watch out for tonight. Of course, these guys have 4 fast repairs, and you can use them whenever you please, whenever there is damage on the car. And we have seen throughout this league and all the seasons that we have been commentating is the fast repairs really are a strategy thing that really a lot of drivers like to save them for the end of the race, and probably at a track like this, a short track, you really want to try to not take them if you don't have to. It's like nobody electing to come down pit road just yet. And really, tires aren't going to be too much of an issue tonight. This is a short track, and it is nighttime, so really not too much tire wear that's going to be affecting these guys tonight. I don't think that that will be too much of an issue. Definitely fuel, I don't believe is going to be an issue either. I think these guys can make the entire race on 1 tank, or maybe just about. We do run 60% fuel here, so with caution laps, you got to think that that probably will not be an issue, but either way, number 98, he has a lot of damage on that car. And on the rear end particularly, a little bit on the front as well, actually a lot on the front. Really, that left front fender on the 98 is quite not really there anymore, so he might be in the realm of where he wants to get that car fixed up, maybe take a fast repair or something, because that is going to... He's going to want to get that car fixed up, because there is a chance that it's not going to be driving right. Actually, a lot of cars had a lot of front end damage in this field so far. So already looking like a short track race tonight. Pace car pulling off track. Field back in the hands of AJ Digby. We'll see if we can get this rolling one more time, and the green flag is out. Better start for him this time. AJ actually is able to get a bit of a car length lead on Kyle Zimmer. Kyle's under fire from that number 98, Christopher Burge. Have a caution on the racetrack once again. I'm not sure what happened. I believe it was number 99 of Johnny Berardi involved. There's 13 of Capers, so I assume it was what happened right back there in the back of the field. Alan Capers, of course, was in the first accident as well, so definitely not having the type of night he thought he might wanted to have tonight. Ooh, looks like that they just ooh, actually Alan Capers getting on his roof right there, so just looks like everybody ran out of room. I'm not sure why they were going for that much of the, or why they were going for that same part of the racetrack, but either way they did make contact, and you saw the end result there. Pretty wild ride from the gyro cam of the 13, flipping around a few times, and good thing he landed back on his wheels though, because if it didn't, he'd be taking a tow and losing several laps in the process. Have a couple drivers on pit road now. There's number 17 of Fernando Matos. He was involved in the wreck. Thomas Wise and Alan Capers both involved as well. They have damage on their cars. There's number 98 of Christopher Burge, probably getting his car fixed up a bit. He had a lot of damage from the first accident, and yes, that car is looking fresh once again. I want to give a shout out to that Carlos, our producer. Bit of a I know he likes the sponsor on that 98, so we'll go ahead and look at it for just a moment. Give a bit of a shout out to the sponsor of that, Rooster Teeth. Nice looking car, by the way. Can't say I don't enjoy it myself. But thankfully, as this is a short track, we should not have a problem with long cautions. So I think we should be going, or getting one to go this time by, and I believe that we will. So yes, those pace car lights are going off, and we will be getting back going racing here in just a few seconds. Like we said, short cautions, always a good thing. We like to see green flag racing, and like to see these races get by pretty quickly. See these nice little 2D people here on the infield and the outside of the track, but we're not going to worry about that too much right now. The pace car is pulling off onto the pit road. Field back in the hands of AJ Digby once again. See what kind of restart he gets. Actually, that 25 of Zimmer gets a good restart on the outside line. We've seen that outside line been pretty strong on these restarts. I think he's actually going to get the runoff turnover too. Yes, he does. He actually pulls ahead of Digby by several car lengths. Very good run for that number 25. Number 1 of Thomas Wise looks like he is at risk of going a lap down already, and the field's going to negotiate around him. He's staying well on the way. Some issues with that machine, well off the pace right now, but looks like everybody able to get around him pretty good. Have a car on pit road there. There's Matthew Wisniewski having some issues. Definitely not having the type of night he wants to have so far. Involved in several accidents so far, and going to lose some laps on pit road. But looks like the field has spread out quite a bit. Ooh, contact in 1. Billy Wise sideways saves it though. Wow, if we can get a replay of that. That was a great save for the number 32. Can't believe he saved that car. These cars not having all the aero bits that the bigger stock cars have. Very hard to save the cars when they get sideways, but there was contact with the 98 of Christopher Burge. You saw him right there behind him, and kind of just turned that 32, got sideways, slid it all through 1 and 2, and just saved it on the very end of the of that turn. So good to see that. But we do have a new leader, 3 wide with the top 3 cars, Pascowicz, Zimmer, and Digby. Digby wins that battle for now, and he's going to shoot off to the lead once again where he started the race. But Pascowicz, like we said, he was fastest in practice, so do not count him out just yet. Already some 3 wide racing here at the front of the field, and don't look now, but that number 98, Christopher Burge, is in this battle as well. So a battle of a 4-car battle for the lead here that's spread out for the time being, but definitely these 4 cars at the front showing that they are all on the pace. Quick look at the lap times. AJ Digby last time was an 18.980. About 2/10 slower was the 7 of Kevin Pascowicz, so he is the fastest car on the track right now, AJ is. And their best battle on the track is for the 3rd position between Zimmer and Roberge. Roberge a little bit faster than Zimmer right now. about half a second quicker last time, but as we always say in racing, it's one thing to catch someone and a whole other thing to pass them. But Roberge running that low line in 1 and 2. You see it from the back of Zimmer right here. He is right there, but can't get the run off too. Actually loses a lot of time. But definitely you see the what we were talking about in the pre-race, kind of the multi-groove nature of this track. Like we said, it's not progressively banked, but that inside line definitely is not where you want to run. It is flat down there, and you kind of see these cars running middle to high on the racetrack. You can use that low line kind of on the exit as a bit of a, it kind of decambers the car a little bit, gets you a little bit loose on the exit, but it's not somewhere where you want to run. You just can't carry speed on that line like you can on the middle to high groove of the racetrack. Back here at the front, battle between Digby and Paskowicz still going at it. Paskowicz actually was able to gain some ground on Digby the last time by, about a tenth and a half quicker. So we'll see if he can actually, he is there, quite close right there as well. So see if he can find a way around him. Number 1 of Thomas Wise going another lap down, it seems. Ooh, looks like Digby didn't get a good run off too, and he's going to be blocked by the number 1 of Thomas Wise. No, he's not. Actually gets around him, and that lap car might have actually helped him a little bit because the 7 was about to pass him, but was not able to get the move done. Still going out for the spot. Zimmer and Roberge. Actually, Zimmer looks like he got in the wall, got a little bit too high in 1 and 2, so he lost the spot to Roberge. See if he can get it back. Not too much damage on that car. It's not going to affect him too much. This is a short track, like we said, but definitely did lose his momentum through that corner. See the kind of line he's running, kind of cutting it down on the exit of the racetrack, like we would say, diamonding the corner. It's like the number 7 car, Paskowicz, was got in the wall off turn number 2, just ahead. So this battle that was once a 4-car battle is now kind of a 2-car battle, and then another 2-car battle for the first and third positions. Here's this battle between the 32 of Billy Wise and Fernando Matos, 2 mostly green cars going at it right now, and 2 mostly damaged cars as well. You see a lot of damage on the back of that 17 as well as on the side of the 32, but looks like you will see it is quite hard to pass here just because of the nature of the way you have to drive this track. A little bit of a bump between those 2 cars. No harm, no foul. That is good, clean, short track racing here between these 2 drivers. And number 13 of Alan Capers right behind them. You might see him at the right side of your screen lurking in case these 2 drivers get in trouble, but I don't think that will happen. These two drivers are very clean and haven't really ever had any issues in the league. Here's Fernando Matos getting a great run outside. Just drove around Billy Wise. Alan Capers getting the wall right behind them pretty hard. That car just looks like it stopped turning off the corner. And it looks like he still is going pretty well. Going to be a bit of damage on the right side of that car. But Fernando Matos with a great move around the outside of Billy Wise there is just kind of showing that he knows how to drive this track pretty well. These drivers are about 9 seconds behind the leader right now, so they are going to need a caution if they want to catch the Digby-Paskowicz battle, which still is raging on pretty well right now. Paskowicz right there with Digby. Ooh, some contact with Paskowicz and the number 24, the lap car of Lesniewski. Ooh, more contact. And the 7 is around in turn number 2. We'll see if they get a caution, and yes, we will. So it looks like he was trying to get around the 24 and just not able to get the move made, and sent that number 7 car spinning around. But no damage, I believe, and he's going to get going pretty easily. But we'll watch the replay, see what happened. Yeah, just slid up in the middle of 1 and 2, and the number 24 was there. Nothing either driver could do. Matthew did nothing wrong being where he was, and Kevin was just trying to do what he could in trying to pass the 24. He is a lead lap car anyway, so you know, he is well inclined to pass the 24, but 24 did give him plenty of room, so nothing either driver could do. But we do have pit stops, of course, at the front. Looks like the first car on pit road is the number 14 of Digby, and I believe the number 9 Chris Roberge stayed out. Yes, he did. And that's kind of something we see from him quite a bit. But these pit stalls are quite tight on this racetrack. We'll see if everybody can get in pretty well and get their cars in to be able to be serviced. Looks like everybody was able to just fine. But as we were saying, Christopher Burge in the 98, that's something we see a lot from him. He tends to play alternate strategies every chance he can, which is not a bad thing. Like we were saying, tire's not going to be too much of an issue here tonight. But as I say that, he proves me completely wrong and proves that he was just staying out to lead a lap because he did come down pit road and he's going to get his 4 fresh tires and fuel. But there is the number 13 of Alan Capers, who looks like he did elect to actually stay out. He is, looks like he's probably going to be the leader on the restart if he doesn't elect to come down pit road, which I don't believe he will. But he has proved me wrong before, and yes, he looks like he probably will stay out. So, see what kind of, we will see the difference between 30 lap old tires and the difference between new tires on this restart. We'll see what kind of a gain having 30 laps on the tires, or having 30 laps less on the tires, excuse me, will be. We were saying that the tires are not going to be too much of an issue tonight, but it will be an advantage for the cars with new tires, just because Alan Capers is the only car on the racetrack right now with the oldest tires, so he probably will have a bit of a handful keeping all those cars behind him. But if he does have the speed, he probably will be able to keep some of the cars about 5th place on back behind him. But we definitely will see, and for the rest of the field, this will be something they want to look forward to in case we get a late caution. See if staying out on older tires is a viable strategy, depending on how well it works for the 13. But we will see how that works on this restart, because we're about to get going green here once again. Pace car pulling left onto the pit road, and field in the hands of that number 13 of Alan Capers. Of course, the only driver to stay out, and green flag is out. Looks like everybody got going pretty well. We'll see how well those tires hold through 1 and 2. 13 of Alan Capers on the bottom. Looks like they didn't hold very well, because here comes the 7, here comes the 14, here comes the 25. Looks like they're all trying to get around that 13, but no incidents to speak of just yet. The 13 way up the racetrack, just trying to hang on, but actually it looks like those tires are coming back to him, because he's coming back on the 25. Move him back up to 3rd position. Top 2 cars have spread out a little bit once again, but the whole field is looking to see what this 13 is doing right now, and it looks like those tires are holding pretty well in the wall a little bit, but no problem with that. He's gonna contact with the 25. Looks like there's been a lot of contact right there. 13 getting very high up on the wall, but kind of just using it to turn at this point, I believe. But it's like those tires are holding on for the time being pretty well. Bit of a hornet's nest back here for behind Capers. Battle for the 4th spot with Matos and Zimmer. Matos has it, Zimmer wants it. Zimmer actually got kind of nerfed by the 13 bouncing off the wall a little bit, so lost a little bit of momentum, so he's going to slot in right behind Fernando in the 5th spot. But this is all your cars in the top 8 right now, from 3rd place on back to 8th place. 8th place, of course, being Brian Lowhead. He is actually not the last car in the lead lap. That would be Johnny Berardi. But this is most of your cars in the lead lap right now. There's Christopher Burge getting a little bit loose off turn number 2, battling with Billy Wise. See, he sends it off into the corner very deeply into turn 3, but not able to make the move just yet. Matos was able to get around the 13 of Capers just ahead of this, and now here comes Zimmer looking to get around him as well, but not able to make the move just yet. See what kind of run he gets off turn number 2, not able to get the power down. Just so hard to pass here on the bottom side of the racetrack. Not much you can do as a driver. You just kind of have to hope that they get a bad run on that outside, but if they don't, you just really have to kind of wait for your move. Typical short track racing here right now, kind of a single file train. Contact with Zimmer and Capers. Here comes Roberge making it 3 wide. A little bit of contact with Zimmer. Zimmer got nerfed into Billy Wise a little bit, but no caution, no cars spinning around or anything just yet. But Chris Roberge was the big winner in that. Ooh, contact! As I say that, I think he just went from the big winner to the big loser because he got nerfed into the inside grass. No caution, did not actually spin the car around, just lost all of his momentum and all of his track position. So a bit of a commentator's curse there. I'm sorry, Chris. But still going at it behind the 13. There's Billy Wise and Zimmer still going at it. So give that spot to Zimmer for the time being. That is the battle for fifth position. Not much going up at the front. The lead between Digby and Pasquich about 9/10 of a second last time by. So Digby is your fastest car on track right now. Here comes the battle for the fourth spot. Zimmer and Capers. I do believe that Zimmer will take it pretty easily off turn number 4, and yes, he does. So the next, in the wall there, you see from the back of this car, you can see how hard these guys are driving at this racetrack, and just the nature of it is kind of, we've seen that a lot tonight, those drivers just getting in the wall because the car just looks like it has a bit of a tight condition late exit on the racetrack. So you see sparks getting thrown every now and again, but next driver for Zimmer is that number 17 of Matos. And here he comes off turn number 4. Got a good run off corner. Going to make the move on the bottom side of the racetrack. We'll see if he can hold it. I don't believe he will. Maybe kind of run he gets off turn number 2, but I think he should have it here into turn number 3. He's got the preferred groove, but Matos not giving up easily. He's going to fight back on the outside line. Good racing here between these two drivers right now. Good stuff. Good short track racing, but I think Zimmer's going to take it pretty easily right now, and yes, he does. So move Zimmer up there, and definitely showing that he has the speed, just needs to get the track position, not get shuffled out of the, get shuffled to the back so quickly, because that number 25 is pretty fast. But here we are on board with the 13 of Capers. He's under fire from the 90 of Christopher Burge. Of course, we saw him getting nerfed into the grass a few laps ago, and Chris has already gotten his track position back. But once again, it almost a mirror image of the first time. Christopher Burge gets shoved into the grass a little bit. Just he's trying to make a move on that bottom side of the racetrack, sliding up into the outside car, and it looks like he's just getting a little bit getting kind of shoved into the inside of the racetrack. But this time it did bring out a caution, so I believe that's our third or fourth caution of the night. We are working a lap number 50, and we see the onboard here with the 98 just getting a little bit nerfed into the inside grass. But we are working lap number 50 here. So this race is going by pretty quickly once we are under green flag conditions, and if we can stay green, it will be going, or it will be over pretty soon. But pit stops for the leaders: AJ Digby on pit road. There's Kevin Pasquich, going to get 4 tires and fuel once again. I have to imagine. Looks like number 17 of Fernando Matos staying out on the racetrack, as well as Willis Wise as well. He's 4 laps down. Matos and Billy Wise, Ryan Lowhead all staying out on the racetrack. We'll see if they actually elect to keep out on the racetrack, or if some of these drivers are just electing to lead a lap, or at least try to. And as I say that, here comes Billy Wise and Lowhead. I think that Matos might elect to stay on the racetrack though, because he, I don't know. We will see though. I'm going to take this opportunity to give a shout out to all of you in chat right now. See some of my friends in there. See some Kyle Zimmer fans as well. So thank you all for keeping us company up here in the booth. And we do read all your chats, so go ahead and send some more if you want. And we'll try to respond to them, and then try to Of course, we do read all the chats, so that will be something that we do. Looks like Fernando Matos electing to stay out on the racetrack. Like we said, I believe he will be the leader on this restart. We should be getting the 1 to green this time by. Not quite halfway just yet. It got about 10 more laps to go before we reach that point, but like we were saying, the race is going by pretty quickly once we get under green flag conditions. And indeed, those pace car lights are off, so we're going to double up for this restart. Your leader going to be that number 17 of Fernando Matos, that green machine with the blue numbers. And we have seen that outside line of on the restarts be very strong, so let's see what AJ Digby can do with that. That's the first time he started on the outside line of this race, I believe. So we'll see if he's able to get the good run that we've seen the other drivers get, and maybe get that run through 1 and 2. But the pace car is pulling off track right now. Field is in the hands of Fernando Matos, and the green flag is out. As we said, there's AJ Digby getting a very good restart on that outside line. I think he will take the lead easily in turn number 1. Yes, he does. Here comes number 7 of Paskowicz, very close through 1 and 2. Here comes Capers as well. So Matos, those tires definitely not doing him any favor right now. He is kind of falling like a rock, but that is kind of to be expected for at least the first few laps after the restart, with everybody else on those fresh tires. And he probably will be under fire from Roberge as well. Yes, he is. Roberge gets a good run through 1 and 2. Almost some contact with 13 of Capers. You saw from the onboard here, very close there. And that was able to get Fernando Matos the run through turn number 4. Ooh, very close there. Almost contact with the 13, but he was able to stay off him and no contact. There's number 1 of Thomas Wise in the inside grass. No caution there, no issue whatsoever. But Fernando Matos, contact with 32, Billy Wise around on the backstretch. There was some contact there with the 17, and we are going to be under caution here. We'll have to check and see what happened on the replay here. Yes, we have it queued up for you guys, and I believe it was just a product of racing here at Thompson. Saw Matos there on the inside line. Billy Wise taking his line, just really nothing. Looks like it was just a racing deal between those two drivers. Nothing either driver can do. Of course, no damage for the 32, no damage for the 17. Everybody going to be able to get going pretty well and get some tires in that car probably. You see Matos is electing coming up your road, had enough of those old tires and is going to come down and change those, get for Mr. Feelgoods on that car, and it definitely will help his handling. Take a quick look at the manufacturer running board here in this race. Looks like Chevy's having a pretty good day, which of course they will be. They're all the cars in this series. These are all Chevy Impalas. So, you would hope that they would have a pretty good day, and of course they are. So, good to see Chevy having a good race here. Kind of a tongue-in-cheek comment from us, but either way. Working under caution here at Thompson. And believe we should be passing halfway right at the green flag or so. So good to see that. Race is going by pretty quickly, and the cautions, even we are working number 5 or 6, I believe, the cautions are pretty quick here at Thompson. So good to see that, definitely. Alright, pace car lights are off, so we're going to double up for the restart once again. Let's take a quick opportunity to take you through the entire field. AJ Digby, your leader. Kevin Pasquich, second. Third is Chris Burge. Alan Capers in fourth. Kyle Zimmer in fifth. Fernando Matos, sixth. Billy Wise, seventh. Brian Lowhead, eighth. Johnny Berardi, ninth. Last car on the lead lap. Thomas Wise, 5 laps down in the 10th position. And Matthew Lazinski has retired from the race. And he will be your 11th place finisher tonight. The pace car is pulling off the racetrack once again, field in the hands of AJ Digby on that inside line. We'll see if he can get the kind of restart he got last time, but he was on the outside line. Looks like both those drivers on the front row got a pretty good restart. We'll see if Pasquich can make a move into turn 1. Yes, he does. Drives in the corner. Up the track he goes. Half the 25 in the wall hard behind him, but here, battle for the lead raging on still between Pasquich and Digby. Pasquich has the advantage right now. Digby has the line, but Pasquich able to make the move. Christopher Burge almost gets in the 13 of Alan Capers behind them. Lots of action all over this racetrack right now. Have a lot of cars doing things that they might not need to be doing, but either way, everybody gets their self sorted out, and the big winner out of that whole exchange was the 7 of Kevin Pasquich. He is your leader right now. Looks like we have a car who got shoved up the racetrack a little bit behind them. That was Fernando Matos, who we saw pit on the last caution. He lost a couple spots to Billy Wise and Brian Lowhead. Of course, Brian Lowhead was your 11th place starter tonight, your only car to not qualify. Currently going for the 6th position on Billy Wise on the inside of the track. See if he can make the move. Can't just yet, but making a good run at it for the time being. Very low on the racetrack. There's Chris Burge in the number 4th position right now, battling with the 13 of Alan Capers. Ooh, in the wall. 17 of Fernando Matos actually climbed it a little bit. Doesn't look like it hurt him too much, but we were talking about how these cars tend to do that, and definitely you saw that right there. Number 17 was on his side for a little bit. A little bit of damage on the right side of that car. There's Chris Burge. We've seen him on the inside of the track a lot tonight. He seems to be the bravest driver, I would have to say, kind of driving it down in the corner and try to make that move, make a dive bomb move, as we'd say, but not able to get the spot on Capers just yet. But he is very fast. We did see that number 98 car did start second tonight and was very fast in the early parts of this race, so I wouldn't count him out too much just yet. But that 13 is also very fast on your screen right now. The number 13 of Alan Capers, he was your winner last race, not last week, but last race in the series at Milwaukee, so he definitely knows how to drive these shorter tracks pretty well. Battle for this position going on. As I say that, number 13 got in the wall a little bit, climbed it a little bit, and that did give this position to the 98 of Chris Burge. Here's the battle for the lead going on between Digby and Pasquich. Pasquich has it. Digby wants it back. He did lose it on the restart. See Digby working that inside line. Pasquich on the outside preferred group. And he's able to get that good run off the corner. Lots of action all over this racetrack right now. A lot of contact we've seen throughout this race, but it's been surprisingly clean. And we've had a few cautions here and there, but of course, short track racing with these cars is something that you kind of have to expect that to happen. Digby making a move on the 7. Contact. That was a bit of an optimistic move. I don't think Pasquich will be happy about that, but either way, Digby was able to get the lead, and that was he kind of booted him out of the way, which it is fair in short track racing. That's just kind of what happens, and he probably is expecting the 7 to pay him back again later in the race, because that's the, short track racing all about this for that. But either way, Digby has the lead now by about a second or so over the 7 of Pasquich. Here's the battle between Billy Wise and Matos going on for the 6th position. Billy Wise has it. Fernando Matos wants it. Matos on the inside of the racetrack, see if he can make the move. Of course, Billy Wise on the preferred group, but they also have the 66 of Lowhead in the battle as well, right behind that 17. Lowhead kind of doing a normal Brian Lowhead race, kind of running a little bit low, or laying low, excuse me. But definitely will be someone to watch out for as we get to the later stages of this race. The 17 gets a good run off turn number 2. Looks like Billy Wise had to get out of the throttle, and Matos got the position. Battle in front of them between the number 13 of Capers and Zimmer. Looks like that Zimmer has the position. He was able to get around Capers, so we'll see if he can kind of pull away now. It looks like he is just a little bit. Now the next car on Zimmer's target is, it looks like 13 got a little bit loose on turn number 4. He spun around, and caution is out once again. And you see what happened there. The number 13 looks like he just got a little bit out of shape in turn number 4. It was a kind of a weird accident there, but either way, no damage to that car. And it's like he was able to get it going once again, and he'll just get that car fixed up and ready to go probably. Right on board with him, and yeah, it looks like there was maybe a little bit of contact there with the 32, or the 17, I believe that was. But either way, we said was able to get going, and he'll get tires on that car and get it out once again. Pit stops for the leaders. There's AJ Digby, Christopher Burge, Kyle Zimmer all in as well. Battle off pit road, 7 of Paskowich and B. Looks like Digby won the battle off pit road. Looks like our only car on the lead lap to stay out at the moment was that number 66 of Brian Lohead. You see them, or you see him on your screen right now. See if this is just something to get a lap lead, or if he elects to stay out on the racetrack. Actually, excuse me, I'm wrong about that. Number 99 of Johnny Berardi also electing to stay out. So we'll see if those two drivers elect to come down pit road, or if they are going to be your front row on this restart. And as I say that, there's Brian Lohead coming down pit road. We'll see if Berardi does the same as well next lap, or if he elects to stay on the racetrack. Pace car lights are off. We're going to be getting set to go green here next lap. And the number 99 of Johnny Berardi on your screen right there, that orange and white machine electing to stay out on the racetrack, did not pit under this caution, and everybody else on the racetrack did, and we will see how well he's able to use those older tires. We've seen that those tires don't hold up very well for at least the first 2 laps on the restart, but they do not fall off too much after that once the newness wears off of everyone else. But we definitely will see pace car making the hard left onto pit road. It's like Berardi has a little bit of a lead, but the green flag is out. See how well he's able to get going. Looks like the 14 of Digby got a pretty good restart on that outside line. Oh, some contact in turn 1. Digby in the wall, Berardi in the wall. Looks like, ooh, contact with the 32 as well. 32 is upside down on his roof, and Digby was involved, so that was kind of a mess on the restart. Looks like a lot of cars involved on that as well. 32 smoking heavily. See what happened on the restart. Wild ride here on the gyro cam of the 2. Looks like he kind of just got blindsided, just not enough room there for those 3 cars to coexist in the same part of the track. You see that the 14 got kind of shoved up the racetrack, and that is what started it all. And actually we were 4 wide there for just a second, so really just a lot of cars in the same spot that could not fit with each other. But the big winner out of that was that 7 car of Kevin Paskowich. He was able to get the lead, and we'll have to keep an eye on that 14 of Digby throughout the rest of this race. We know he is very fast, has led the most laps tonight, and he will be probably a little bit ticked after that incident, getting kind of nerfed up into the wall and involved in an accident. So he'll come down pit road, get his car fixed up, take tires and fuel, and we'll have to see what kind of a charge he makes through the field. All right, pace car lights are off once again. 40 laps to go on the restart. We'll have, let's go ahead and reset the field for you once again. Big shakeup due to the last caution. Kevin Paskowicz is your leader. Kyle Zimmer, your new second place driver. Christopher Burge third. Alan Keepers fourth. Randall Matos fifth. Brian Lowe at sixth. John Berardi seventh. AJ Digby eighth. Billy Wise, first car, 1 lap down in ninth. Thomas Wise, 4 laps down in 10th. And Matthew Wisniewski, of course, retired from the event. The pace car is off. Field in the hands of number 7 of Paskowicz. We'll see what he can do with the lead to himself. But Kyle Zimmer on that outside line gets a pretty good restart. We'll see if he can drive it off into 1 and make a move happen. I don't believe he will. He does not. He's actually under fire from Capers. Ooh, contact with the 98. The 98 going spinning off into the inside wall. Very hard contact for him, but no caution just yet. We'll see if race control decides to throw one. That number 98 is get back going, so I don't believe we will get a caution, but there is quite a bit of damage on that machine, and he is not going to be happy about that, I can't presume. But look at the third place driver right there. AJ Digby was about in 9th place on the restart and already up to 3rd, so he is driving with a lot of fire under the butt of that car. And we'll see if he can get around the 25 and the 7 as well. We know he's very fast, just needs to get back to where he was. And he does have the freshest tires on the racetrack right now. Ooh, contact! Number 25, Zimmer in the wall pretty hard. That made Digby's life pretty easily off turn number 2. So move him up to 2nd place. He actually is only less than a second behind the leader right now of Kevin Paskowicz. So that number 14, very fast. And I do believe that he is going to try his best to run down that number 7 as soon as possible. There's the battle for 4th, Capers, or excuse me, battle for 3rd. Zimmer, Fernando Matos, and Capers going at it. First car is Kyle Zimmer. Saw him get in the wall a few laps ago, but it doesn't look like there's too much damage on that car. We've not really seen Kyle Zimmer have Kyle Zimmer speed tonight. It looks like he just hasn't been very comfortable with the car, not able to really get out there and lead a lot of laps like we normally see him do, but is doing a pretty good job there and running in the 3rd position, so making the best of what probably isn't the best night for him so far. But of course that number 17 of Fernando Matos wants to get around him and wants to get that number, or that 3rd position for himself. Your best battle on the racetrack right now, but I do believe we're going to have a battle for the lead here in just a moment. That number 14 of Digby has caught Paskowicz lead about 0.5 of a second right now, so definitely it is closing and in a hurry. So if that 7 is looking in his mirror, that 14 is getting a little bit bigger lap by lap. Digby running about a 10th quicker per lap, but we have a caution on the racetrack right now, so that's not what he wanted to see just yet. But looks like that 13 slow on the racetrack. That is near turn number 1, I believe. So we'll look at the replay and see what happened. Looks like 13 just got in the wall, just kind of lost it off turn number 2, or turn number 4, excuse me, and got in the wall, and it looked like it just kind of pitched that car around, and a little bit of a wall grab there. iRacing glitch, but looks like he was able to get going just fine. Kind of the nature of beast with this racetrack, though, just the way you have to run it. That's something that can happen, and certainly not going to be pretty when it does. But either way, the leaders up here are all on pit road, so this might be the last pit stops of the race. Definitely we will have to wait and see. I can't imagine. Ooh, looks like Digby was not able to get in the stall very well. Neither was, it looks like everybody had some trouble getting in their stall. Of course, very small pit boxes here that, of course, you really technically don't see pit stops at a track like this. But 98 of Roberge looks like he was able to win the battle off pit road. We'll have to see if he took 2 tires or something, but definitely won the battle. And number 7 of Paskowicz also beating Digby off. So Digby goes from the 2nd place to 3rd. Paskowicz goes from 1st to 2nd, and the big winner on that exchange was the 98 of Chris Roberge. Bit of a scoring hiccup there here. Looks like that 98 is 1 lap down, so not sure what happened there. Of course, we did see him get in trouble on the last last green flag of the race, but not sure what happened there. A bit of a scoring hiccup there, but we'll have to see if that sorts itself out. But Christopher is not your leader as we originally thought. So he might have been caught a lap down by the caution sequence or something like that, but we'll have to wait and see. But 2 cars did stay out. Excuse me, 3 cars look like they stayed out. Capers, Berardi, and Lowhead on pit road as I say that. Well, we got 1 to green and a bit of a shakeup at the front once again. Number 98 or 99 of Johnny Berardi electing to stay out on the racetrack once again, so he will be lining up right next to the 7 of Paskowicz. Behind Berardi is 14 of Digby, and on the outside of that second row going to be 25 of Zimmer. So we'll see what happens on this restart. We did see the 99 stay out one time before, and was some contact in turn 1 after that happened, so we'll see what happens. Bit of a jump on the restart a little bit, so we'll have to see how race control goes about dealing with that. But green flag is out once again. We'll see what happens in turn number 1. It looks like everybody was able to get through it a bit cleaner this time. 3 wide off 2 with Berardi, Digby, and Zimmer not going to work there. Somebody's going to have to give. It looks like the number 14 of Digby was the one who did have to give, but he was able to get around the 99, and 99 is falling back in a hurry with those older tires. But battle for the 3rd spot looks like between Zimmer and Matos. Give it to Zimmer. So that number 17 of Matos under fire from the 13 as well. Some contact there in turn number 4. Wow, those 2 cars getting spinning out on the front stretch, and looks like a few other cars involved as well. So kind of a tongue twister there for me. So I apologize for that. But the 98 of Roberge is spinning under caution. Looks like there was some not so nice driving there between those 2 drivers off turn number 4, between the number 13 of Capers and the 17 of Matos, and it just resulted in both cars getting spun around and going for a ride in turn number 1. But I want to give a quick shout out in chat to Mr. Nate Catilla, who is apparently dealing with a cold and not out there tonight. So Nate, we hope to see you again next week, and I do believe we do have Trucks of Michigan next week. So I know that's your favorite track, and definitely will be a good place to come back to. Maybe go ahead and go out there and win the race. But yeah, definitely can't wait to see you back, Nate. But getting down close to 20 laps to go here at Thompson, and we know that those laps do go green. We'll be over in a hurry, but we got to think that at a short track with 20 laps to go, that's when the intensity picks up quite exponentially, and we might see a few more cautions before this race is over with. But going to be working at least 2 more laps here under pacing. Go ahead and quickly reset the field for you once again. Kevin Paskowitz, your leader. AJ Digby in second. Zimmer third. Lowhead fourth. Capers in fifth. Randamato sixth. Billy Wise seventh. Berardi in eighth. Christopher is your last car in the lead lap in ninth. Thomas Wise 10th, 3 laps down, and Matthew Ozniewski, of course, retired from the event. Pace car lights going off, so we'll double up for this restart and have, I believe, 19 laps to go on this restart. Nice little short track showdown here in Thompson, Connecticut. So we're going to have Paskowitz and Digby on the front row of this restart. The two fastest cars all race and going to be battling out for all the marbles. The pace car is off. Field in the hands at number 7 of Paskowitz. We'll see what he can do on the restart with Digby on the outside line. We've seen that line get a very good restart every single time just about. And once again, it does move some very close racing there through 1 and 2. Digby got shoved up the track just a little bit, but he's got a good run off turn number 2. Here comes Digby into turn number 3. Paskowitz got in the wall a little bit. You can see the sparks getting thrown up, but Digby not able to make the move just yet. Contact almost. Here comes Zimmer out of nowhere. We said that he was having a very un-Kyle Zimmer-like race, but here comes Zimmer through 1 and 2, showing that he is not out of it just yet. Digby not able to clear Zimmer just yet. Can't use all the racetrack, but I believe he just did. So Digby not what he wanted to see, so he's going to have to chase down that number 7 once again. But Zimmer showing that he is not out of it just yet. Really late in this race, showing that he has muscle left in that number 25 machine. Looks like the number 7 of Paskowitz is not as strong off turn number 2 as that 14 of Digby is, and that definitely is where Digby is able to beat the 7. But it looks like the 7 is better off turn number 4, at least for the time being. So we'll have to wait and see what happens, how those two drivers adapt to each end of the track where they have their weaknesses. But there through 1 and 2, Paskowitz was able to kind of correct his problem or whatever and get a better run, and you see Digby not able to close in like he did before. But very close to 1 and 2, you see from the back here of Paskowitz's car, Digby just not able to kind of use that momentum that he's getting through the center of 1 and 2 to make a move on the exit. Of course, it is a common saying that if you can sacrifice exit speed for entry and mid-corner speed, and that's I think what we see Digby is doing. That's kind of what he has to do, because that is the only way he's going to be able to get around the 7 car, and you see him just losing momentum off the corner there. Just kind of all he can do at this point. Coming down to about 10 laps to go here in just a few laps, and definitely will be a shootout between these two drivers. And of course, if they get in trouble, that number 25 of Zimmer is lurking right there, waiting to pounce and potentially get a win out of this. But we'll stay on the battle for the lead right now. It is the best battle on the track between these two drivers. They've shown that they have the speed all night long, and of course, it is going to be a fight to the end for both of them. Going to be working the lap car of the 99 of Berardi. Of course, we saw him stay out on the restart with those older tires, so that car well off the pace right now. Looks like he probably will stay well out of the way for these two drivers. We'll see how they get around him. Berardi pulls low on the racetrack, but looks like they are able to negotiate. Ooh, contact with the 7 car, and that allows Digby to get around Paskowitz for the lead. And here comes Zimmer as well. That number 7 got in the wall, got kind of crossed up a little bit because of that lap car, and definitely did not help him whatsoever. So moved Digby back to the lead, and I don't think Paskowitz is going to be too happy about that at all. And can you blame him for that? Working more lap cars at the front, getting around the number 17 of Matos. We saw him in trouble a few laps ago as well. So the battle on the track right now is for the second position, Zimmer and Paskowicz. Paskowicz has it, Zimmer wants it, and Zimmer has it once again, so move him up to the second place. Contact with the 7. Zimmer made a bit of a slide job move, but some contact. Ooh, we have some cars on the inside of the track spun around, but no caution out just yet. Looks like it was 66 of Lowhead and Thomas Wise, but still going at it for the second position, the battle on the racetrack. They have to negotiate the lap car of Matos. Matos stays well out of the way. And looks like that did hold up the 7 of Paskowicz just a bit. So Zimmer able to extend his lead over the 7 car by just a bit. So that's the highest he's been all race. And that number 14 of Digby has about a 2.5 second lead over Zimmer as of right now. So definitely this race has been turned upside down on its head in the later stages. We'll see if it gets sent off to Philadelphia to live with its bit of a reference there. But about 5 or so laps to go here. That number 7 of Paskowicz all sideways out of turn number 2, and he's got to be driving frustrated right now because he was leading the race, had a pretty good lead over the 14, and all of a sudden he's running in the 3rd position now, not able to do anything. So definitely he's got to be a little bit ticked at how the later stages of his race has gone, but either way, that is racing, and that is short track racing very well. There's somebody who probably is happy about how things have gone. Kyle Zimmer, we were talking how he just did not have the speed tonight, did not have a Kyle Zimmer-like race. You usually see him come out and lead a bunch of laps and be in contention for the win. Did not have that tonight, but he is running in the 2nd position, so definitely coming out with about the best he probably could have hoped for. So definitely, you got to think that he probably will be pretty happy about that if he's able to stay there and hold that position for the finish. But battle going on for the 4th position. Alan Capers and Chris Roberge going at it. We think that this is the best battle on the racetrack right now. Capers has it. Roberge wants it, of course. Roberge on the inside of the line, and he's going to take that position pretty easily because Capers got in the wall, got a little bit too high there in turns 3 and 4. So the lead for Roberge about 0.5 of a second over Alan Capers. But back here at the front, AJ Digby looks like he's going to be cruising to his first win of the SimPossible K&N series. Split series, of course, with the trucks and these K&N cars. He was your winner last week in the trucks at Atlanta. See if he can notch another win this week at Thompson. And 1 lap to go for him. So 1 more clean lap at this half-mile racetrack, and I do believe that he's got about a 4.5 second lead over Kyle Zimmer. Absolutely no pressure for him. Just needs to have a good, clean 3 and 4. Get your kazoos ready because he is coming through 3 and 4 right now behind the 2 lap cars of Berardi and Wise. But across the finish line, AJ Digby notches his first win of the K&N series, and definitely after that qualifying performance where he gapped the field by about 0.2 of a second, definitely he did show that he was the favorite tonight. And of course, there you see he's doing some burnouts on the backstretch in that grass. He is your winner tonight at Thompson. See the fireworks going off in the distance, and what a race that was. Gotta love short track racing. It's such a spectacle. There's a lot of contact, a lot of action, and NASCAR, if you're listening, more short tracks, please. See some high speed celebrating there with the 14 of Digby. Gets that wall, noses in the wall pretty hard, so that car probably will fail tech inspection now. Well, we're going to pretend like that car is legal because it is quite damaged now, but doing some celebrating there in the grass. Good win for AJ Digby. Of course, we talked about his luck at the beginning of this race, and you got to think that he might have just shaken that monkey off his back that he had for so long where he couldn't. Everything that could go wrong to him did go wrong, but of course, we did see him get in some trouble tonight, was involved in a wreck, but able to shake it off and pull the win off here and notch another win on the series. But we'll allow these drivers to get their thoughts collected, get some, maybe go get some water, go get some whatever they need, and we'll have some interviews for you guys here shortly. Excuse me.
And it's not about MS anymore. It's about just working out in this community and being a part of the community. And you can go there, you come to MS Forward, and everybody gets it. You can talk to everybody about it. But I think my spin, if you will, on my disease has changed to a more positive thing, just because I've been able to be a part of MS Forward Gym. And it's not just a gym, I just can't say it enough, it's a community. It's really a community.
It's murder, go crazy, berserker.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Thompson, Connecticut. We've concluded tonight's event, and I've caught up with third place finisher Kevin Paskowicz. Hey, Kevin, this is Cameron Rich up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, guys, what's up?
All right, man. Well, it's probably not the finish to the race you wanted. Definitely had some issues there at the end. But before I ask you about that, kind of just take us through your race. What happened from the beginning, and how did it go for you?
Overall it was a lot of fun. We had that dust up right there on the first lap, but other than that, it was a lot of fun out there. The car was fun to drive. I kind of realized really quick it was pretty much going to be AJ and I all night long, so I knew he was the one I had to figure out how to beat. And I think if the race had gone green for more than 20 laps, I think I would have had better legs than him if we'd had clean racetrack and a good length of run. But short track racing being what it is, that might not be an issue. That might not be possible.
One thing I want to ask you is we kind of saw that the nature of this track, it seems like it's a mid to high line track. That bottom side is very flat. Did that kind of catch you out anytime tonight?
I think it caught me out once trying to make a pass, but I've turned a lot of laps here in modifieds. So I know the track relatively well. First time ever here at this track with this car, but the flat is dangerous, I guess. If you hit it just right, it'll actually kind of grab you a little bit and sling you off the corner, but the longer you go, the worse the tires get. That becomes a very, very tricky proposition, and you're more likely to spin.
Yeah, absolutely. We did see that a couple of times tonight, but next week we ditch these cars once again, and we ditch short tracks once again. We go to the trucks at Michigan. So how are you looking forward to that race? That's about as different from this as you can get.
Yeah, well, I like Michigan. It's actually probably one of my best stock car tracks, if not my best stock car track. Last year was actually my first race in this series. My first race was SimPossible, and I think I finished second. Felt like I was going to be able to catch the leaders, but we had the caution come out right at the end. So it'll be exciting. I always enjoy the big tracks, the 2-mile tracks. So looking forward to it.
All right, Kevin. Well, as always, we thank you very much for talking with us. But before we let you go, I'm going to give you a chance to give some shout-outs because we know you got some people you probably want to thank.
Yeah, first off, I need to thank actually tonight Ronnie Osmer, who did the paint job for this car tonight, kind of whipped it up this afternoon. So thanks to him for doing that. But then, of course, PH Aware, Palmetto Distilleries, The Mighty, of course, Ride to Give, all those amazing charities and organizations. So thank them, and of course my teammates at Phenomenal Evolution Racing. So I think that covers everybody, other than my wife, who, of course, as always, puts up with my hobby, and I appreciate her all the more for it.
All right, Kevin. Well, Pete, you talking to us, and we hope to talk to you again next week, bud. Congrats on finishing third.
All right, thank you, guys.
All right. Well, let's see if we can go find Mr. Second Place himself, Kyle Zimmer, and I believe I have caught up with him. All right, Kyle. Well, a lot to say about tonight, but definitely not a typical Kyle Zimmer race that I would expect. Usually you go out there and lead a bunch of laps and are in good contention for the win, but didn't seem like you had the outright speed to challenge AJ tonight. But just take us through your race. What was missing tonight?
Yeah, tonight was definitely an energy night for me. This track I'm not very familiar with. I only ran it maybe once or twice, and it was black through the center of the corner, and I find speed. With momentum coming off the corners. That part was I was struggling the most throughout the night. But definitely up and down. Early on in the race, had a few laps and kind of slipped right back to third or fourth. Got some good greens, but and a few cautions here to there. One of the race starts, I got into turn one pretty, and I real helped it really bad, and I went from like fourth to nine. I had to fight right back up. I found some speed right there. Center not to push my car and that so much, and I at the late of the run, I think the final was yellow, and I kind of followed AJ, covered the last few restarts. How they're running their lane, and kind of followed it, and I found some speed there, but I couldn't keep it up with them too. But I take home second tonight.
Yeah, definitely a good run for not knowing the track very well. You're definitely showing why you are a champion in this league. But I want to ask you, next week we go to the trucks, which you know very well, and Michigan, which you also know very well. So I got to think that you're probably looking a little bit more forward to that event than you were tonight.
Yeah, Michigan is my hometown track, home state track, and last season truck series I almost won it, and I made a tiny mistake that kind of left me in the wreck delay, so I'm kind of hoping redemption there and then take a win or so. Yeah, I'm definitely excited to go back to my home state and I can do there.
Definitely always cool to run well in your home state. But Kyle, thank you so much for talking to us as always. Before we let you go, we know you got some people you want to shout out, so let's go ahead and hear them.
Yeah, I'd definitely like to shout out to you guys, Green Wine TV, Forecasty, and want to thank Jeff for everything he has done. Everyone participated, and want to thank everyone in my team of Passenger Motorsport and Ribeye Racing, Levi with the Wednesday night series, and definitely a Canada night tonight was fun, and yeah, definitely looking forward to go back to home state next week.
All right, Kyle. Thank you for talking with us. Definitely a championship caliber run tonight for that number 25, and we hope to talk to you again next week.
Thank you.
All right, let's try to see if we can find the winner himself, AJ Digby, and I have found him. All right, AJ, this is Cam Rich up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I do.
Well, man, that's 2 Monday wins in a row. So we talked about your former bad luck maybe early on in this race, but definitely showing that maybe that's gone. But definitely came out here and showed you had a lot of speed in qualifying, running 2/10 quicker than anyone, and leading most laps tonight. Just take us through your race.
Yeah, first off, I definitely believe I had the fastest car in the field. Kevin was very close second behind me. He made for some really great battles there throughout the race. But us two seemed to be kind of a shoulder or a head above the field, able to pull away and kind of make it a two-person race at times. But I knew I had a really good car all night. Track position is very vital there, so just trying to stay out front and having that outside line on the restart was also very crucial. But got nicked around, banged around a little bit, but that's short tack racing, and luckily was able to fight from the back of the pack back up to the front, and luckily be able to walk away with the win and the fireworks.
Yeah, you kind of know, or you've mentioned that the outside line was the preferred groove on the restart. It definitely did seem like the inside line at this track did not really work at all. This is a mid to high lane track. Did that kind of make it hard to pass or make it hard to race?
Yeah, it made the restarts a little bit more challenging just because the top line was preferred, and so I wanted to be leading the race, but in case of a caution, you didn't want to be leading the race because then you would end up starting first unless people stayed out on pit stops, and then you never really knew where you were going to be starting. But yeah, the outside line was definitely preferred throughout the race. You could get up inside of somebody on the bottom, but just the way that the curvature of the track is, if you hit the gas a little bit too early, you'd come up into them off of the corner, coming off of the bank there, and so it made the inside real challenging. So you either had to hope that the other person got off their line a little bit, or on one case it was on accident, but use a little bit of a short track bump. So it was a little bit harder than I meant to be, but I guess that's short track racing in the end. And he used it back on me later, which I would have done the same thing if I were him. So, but it was an awesome race. Definitely felt like I had the fastest car, so I was glad to be able to get out in front. Wish Kevin didn't get pushed off at the end. It would have made for a great finish, but sometimes that's just how it rolls. I've been on that end of the stick many of times, and luckily to come away with a good side tonight.
Yeah, definitely. But that's 2 Monday wins in a row for you. Of course, getting the truck win at Atlanta and winning at Thompson. We do go back to the trucks next week at Michigan. About the most different combination you can get from this. How are you looking forward to that race?
I like it. Michigan I've never really been great at, other than IndyCar 2005 on the Xbox. So it's been a long time. I've never really been great at Michigan, but hopefully just be able to get enough, walk away with some good points, and who knows, I might be able to adapt throughout the race, kind of see what other guys are doing, and eventually might be able to pull out a good line and hopefully end up with a podium.
Absolutely, AJ. Well, as always, thank you so much for talking with us. But before we let you go, I'm going to give you a chance to give some shout-outs to people you want to thank and all that.
Thank you very much, first of all, for the broadcast. You and Carlos always do a great job. I'm excited to go and watch it later. Jeff for putting on the league, and everybody in it for doing a great job within the race and making them always fun and always interesting. Also to my cousin Kevin for the wonderful Zulu Motorsports K&N car. Nice to be able to put that at the front finally. And yeah, just real excited, real happy, and hopefully carry some of that momentum into the Indy 500 weekend this weekend.
Absolutely, and that is a cool event. Definitely love the week of May myself, just Indy 500 real life. Such a cool event. But AJ, congrats on your win, capturing that kazoo tonight. Thank you so much for talking with us, and we hope to talk to you again next week, bud.
Thank you very much.
All right, well, right next to AJ, I saw the eavesdropper man himself, Mr. Jeff Schmidt, the man himself. You got a copy?
Yeah, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty well. Loved me some short track racing, and a lot of short track racing stuff tonight. It was a pretty fun race to watch.
It was, man. It was wild. We kind of expected that, no doubt. Short track racing brings a whole different scenario to racing than kind of what we're used to. You know, even going somewhere like Martinsville, which is the shortest track in the NASCAR circuit. I mean, that's a crazy track and everything, but, you know, some of these other tracks that these guys don't run a lot are a lot of fun, too. The Thompson being one of them that we ran tonight. So it's neat to see. The cars look like they handled pretty well. Not saying that it was easy. It's definitely a difficult thing to do going out there. I've seen some 3-wide racing, which is insane at a track like Thompson. Just all in all, awesome race. The guys had a blast.
Definitely love seeing some 3-wide racing on 3-wide TV. A bit of a plug for our own channel right there. But, I will say myself that it was a bit better than I expected just because of this track. It really, like I've talked to everybody, it is very highline oriented, and just the way that you have to kind of drive the track, you have to really dive it in there, and that makes for contact and stuff. So I think everybody did quite a good job tonight with just this track and not having too many cautions.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That bottom line was definitely sketchy. Even if you could make the bottom line work, when you went side by side with someone, it was hard not to push up into them, and it's so bumpy down there. So definitely that bottom line you wanted to stay away from if you could. Obviously, there's certain situations where you have to run it. If you get pushed down there a little bit, or there's already vehicles on the outside, then you got to. And once again, the guys did an amazing job with what they had to deal with, because it was not the easiest thing to drive at all. By any stretch of the imagination. It was definitely a difficult thing, and they did an amazing job, man. I'm looking at the points right now after doing the points for that race, and the top 5 in points are within 3 points of each other. So it's going to be a tight finish to the end here. With our trucks and our K&N Split Series here on Monday. Since they're going to be kind of shorter events for each, and we're doing the points separate, we're not doing a chase format, so it's going to be straight up points. So from the looks of it, it's going to be close all the way to the end. I'm assuming that a lot of this field is going to be really tight in points here, so that's cool to see too.
Yeah, it's really cool that we've had events in the series and 3 different winners, so definitely cool to see some variety in that front. But, as always, Jeff, we know you got a lot of people that you want to thank that make this league go round and round, so let's go ahead and hear them.
Yeah, man. Got to thank you, Cameron and Carlos, YTV, Peter, everyone else that's helped us in the past with 3YTV. You guys are amazing. The broadcast is fantastic. Even though I don't race in this, I still love to go back and watch those, man, because it's neat to see the awesome views and the awesome commentating that goes along with it. There's nothing else out there like it, so thank you very much for doing that. Got to thank the drivers themselves. They're amazing guys, their families, their friends, everyone that watches the 3YTV streams. Make sure to subscribe to 3YTV. Hit the notification bell too, so you will get reminded when we do go live. That way there'll never be a question of whether you'll catch the live races or not. Also, make sure to like the videos. It's always cool to see the thumbs up that we get, and to know that people are out there watching and rooting us on. Very cool to have the support that we do. We are looking for sponsors for both series, for the Monday Night Split Series and the Wednesday. If you're interested in that, contact me at SimPossibleRacing@gmail.com. You can get a hold of us there. You can also send me a message on Facebook, on my personal Facebook, or SimPossible Racing League Facebook page. Our Twitter is SimPossible_. So, yeah, we got many outlets to reach us, so feel free to do that if you are interested in helping us out and getting your name out there at the same time. It's a very cool thing. We'll work a deal out and hopefully be able to help the drivers do more than we already do. A lot of things that we'd like to do, little things even like t-shirts and stickers and stuff like that. I think it'd be awesome to send these guys a care package of some SimPossible gear, so looking forward to being able to do that one day, hopefully soon. Other than that, yeah, just everyone that's helped us along the way, from creating our graphics to the broadcast. We've had a lot of help along this journey, and a lot of amazing people that step forward to help us out and believe in what we do. So thank you very much, everyone.
And we here at 3YTV are absolutely glad to be a part of it each and every way. I speak for myself and Carlos there. But Jeff, thank you so much for talking to us. As always, it's always great to hear those words you say. But we'll go ahead and get some results for you guys here real quick on the screen right now. That's Carlos queuing up the results. But you see AJ Digby there coming home with the win tonight. Talk to him. Kyle Zimmer coming home in second place. Good run for him. Not having the Kyle Zimmer type of night that we expect, but definitely coming home with a good P2. Kevin Paskowicz, probably not where he thought he should finish in third tonight, but a good run nonetheless. Christopher Burge coming home in fourth. Alan Capers fifth. Billy Wise sixth. Fernando Matos seventh. Johnny Berardi eighth. Thomas Wise 9th. Brian Lowhead 10th. And Matthew Lesniewski coming home in 11th. And that is your entire 11-car race tonight. But either way, that's all we got for you tonight from Thompson, Connecticut. We hope you enjoyed the race. It sure was a very eventful one. Gotta love those short tracks. But we want to thank SimTV for those cameras that allow you guys to watch the race each and every week. We want to thank everybody that comes to watch the races, the replays, or watch them live, whatever you want. Friends and family of the SimPossible League, who make it a little bit easier to do all this stuff. Especially all the chatters who come in and root for their favorite drivers, that's really awesome to see. But, from myself, Carlos, at 3YTV, we hope you guys have a good night, stay awesome, and be sure to tune back in next week.